Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. The human warship that shattered the Crimson and Nova empires. The Nemesis glided silently through the darkness of space. Its black hull absorbed the distant starlight, making it almost invisible against the void. Captain James Reed stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the main screen status report. "All systems normal," he said in a calm but firm voice. Lieutenant Emma Walker looked up from her station. "Captain, we're at the edge of human space now. Crimson Empire territory begins about 500,000 kilometers ahead." Reed nodded. The Nemesis was Earth's newest and most advanced warship. With its experimental technology and weapons, it was humanity's best defense against the two alien empires that had been eyeing Earth's colonies for decades. "Keep us on current course, Lieutenant. Standard patrol pattern." Chief Engineer Marcus Stone entered the bridge with a data pad in hand. The short, stocky man with dark circles under his eyes from working non-stop on the ship's new phase shift drive reported, "Captain, I finished the diagnostic on the phase drive. It's stable, but I still don't recommend using it except in emergencies. The testing back on Earth wasn't complete." Reed turned to face him. "Let's hope we won't need it, Chief." The calm of routine patrol was suddenly broken by an alert from the sensor station. "Captain, I'm picking up unusual energy readings from the neutral zone," called the sensor officer. "It's like nothing I've seen before." Reed moved quickly to look at the readings. "Magnify that sector," he ordered. The screen shifted to show a distant area of space where the territories of the Crimson and Nova empires met human space. Strange energy patterns pulsed across the display. "Those aren't normal ship signatures," Emma said, frowning at her display. "Whatever's out there, it's big." Reed made a quick decision. "Change course, take us closer, but keep us out of detection range. I want to know what's happening in that sector." The Nemesis altered its path and moved silently toward the mysterious energy readings. As they drew closer, the crew grew tense. The two alien empires had been bitter enemies for centuries. Their ships never operated in the same space unless they were fighting each other. After 3 hours of careful approach, the truth became clear. "I don't believe it," Emma whispered as the images came into focus on the main screen. There, gathered in what should have been empty space, was the largest collection of alien warships anyone had ever seen. Crimson Empire vessels, with their distinctive red hulls and spiked designs, floated alongside the smooth, silver ships of the Nova Empire. "They're working together," Reed said grimly. "Get me closer visuals of those ships." Tom Parker, the intelligence officer, ran a quick analysis. "Sir, based on the number and types of ships, this is an invasion force, and it's not aimed at each other, it's aimed at us." Reed finished. "They've formed an alliance against Earth." The bridge fell silent as the implication sank in. "We need to alert Earth Command immediately," Reed ordered. "Prepare a full data package of everything we're seeing." "Lieutenant Walker, plot the fastest course back to Earth," he continued. "Space course plotted, sir," Emma replied. After a tense 30-minute escape, it seemed that they would make a clean getaway until an alarm sounded. Multiple ships were approaching from Sector 9. "Crimson Empire destroyers, 6 of them," Emma called out. Reed gripped the arms of his command chair. "They've spotted us. Maximum speed." The Nemesis surged forward, its engines pushed to their limits, but the Crimson ships were gaining. "They're charging weapons," Emma reported. The first energy blast flashed past the ship's port side. The second struck the aft shields. "Shields at 80%, Stone called from the engineering station. "Another hit like that and we'll lose rear protection." Reed made the decision he had hoped to avoid. "Chief, prepare the phase shift drive." Stone looked up in alarm. "Captain, it's not fully tested. We don't have a choice. Do it." The engineer hurried to prepare the experimental drive as more blasts hit the Nemesis. The ship shuddered with each impact, shields dropped to 40%, and damage reports began flooding in from around the bridge. Stone's voice came through the comm system. "Phase drive ready, but I can only give you one jump, Captain." "All crew brace for phase shift," Reed ordered. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the world around them blurred. Stars stretched into lines, and a high-pitched whine filled the ship. Every crew member felt a strange sensation, as if their bodies were being pulled in all directions at once. When reality snapped back into focus, the enemy ships were gone. "Status report," Reed called out, fighting a wave of nausea from the phase shift. "We've jumped approximately 2 light years," Emma reported, checking her instruments. No sign of pursuit. The brief celebration was cut short by Stone's voice. Captain, we have a problem. The communication system is completely fried. The phase shift overloaded the entire array. Can you fix it? Asked Reed. Yes, but it will take days, maybe weeks with the parts we have on board, Stone replied. Reed moved to the center of the bridge, his face illuminated by the glow of the monitors. The situation was clear. They had discovered a massive threat to Earth but couldn't warn anyone about it. Options? He asked his officers. Emma spoke first. We could try to reach the nearest human outpost for repairs, Parker countered. That would take too long. By then the invasion could already be underway. Reed stood silent for a long moment, weighing his choices. The rules said he should return to Earth or the nearest base, but his instincts told him something else. If we can't warn Earth, he finally said, then we'll have to stop this invasion ourselves. The bridge crew looked at him in shock. Sir, Emma questioned, where's one ship against two empires? Reed's eyes hardened with resolve. One ship they don't expect, one ship with technology they've never seen before. He looked around at his crew. We can't match their numbers, but we can create chaos. We can buy Earth time. Moving to the tactical display, he pointed at the map of enemy territory. Set course for the Crimson Empire's forward staging area. We're going to strike first. As the Nemesis slipped into enemy territory, Reed knew he was breaking every rule in the book, but with Earth's survival at stake, he was willing to risk everything. One human warship against two vast alien empires. The odds were impossible. But sometimes impossible odds were exactly what humans did best. 4 days had passed since the Nemesis entered Crimson Empire territory. The human warship moved through enemy space like a ghost, its stealth systems hiding it from alien sensors. Captain Reed stood before the tactical display, studying the glowing dots that represented enemy vessels. The largest cluster marked the main Crimson staging area, where ships gathered for the planned invasion of Earth. Our scans are complete, Captain, said Lieutenant Parker, approaching with a data pad. I've identified their primary fuel depot. It's supplying the entire invasion fleet. Reed nodded. Show me. Parker brought up an image of a massive space station surrounded by fuel tankers, with Crimson warships moving in and out, taking on supplies. If we hit that, we could delay their operations for weeks, Reed said. Emma Walker joined them. Sir, I've been monitoring their communications. The Nova Empire has sent a delegation to coordinate the attack plans. Their High General Tark is meeting with Crimson Commander Vex today. Perfect timing for us to introduce ourselves, Reed said with a grim smile. The bridge crew gathered around as Reed outlined his plan. It was dangerous, but if it worked, it would throw the enemy into confusion. When he finished, Chief Engineer Stone raised his hand. The phase drive is still unstable, Captain. We might get one more jump out of it, but I can't guarantee more than that. We should save it for an emergency. For now, we go in with conventional drives and rely on our stealth, Reed replied. He turned to address the entire bridge. I know what I'm asking of you goes against standard protocol. If anyone objects to this mission, speak now. The bridge remained silent. Every crew member understood the stakes very well. Battle stations, we move in 1 hour. Meanwhile, Commander Vex stood at the viewport of his command ship, watching as Nova Empire vessels docked at the Crimson staging area. His scaled skin gleamed under the red lights of the bridge. The alliance with the Nova Empire displeased him, but their combined might would crush the humans once and for all. High General Tark has arrived, a commander reported, his aide at his side. Vex turned as the Nova official entered the bridge. Unlike the reptilian Crimson species, the Nova were tall, pale beings with 4 arms and smooth, hairless heads. General Tark, Commander Vex greeted coldly. I trust your journey was uneventful. Tark, his upper arms clasped in a formal greeting, replied. My ship encountered no difficulties and all preparations are proceeding as scheduled. Vex replied, our fuel reserves are at maximum capacity. The attack fleet will be ready to launch within 15 standard days. Tark moved to the tactical display. The humans must not be given any warning. Their technology advances too quickly. If we wait another cycle, they may develop weapons that can challenge even our combined forces. Vex was about to respond when an alarm blared through the command ship. What is happening? He demanded, his tactical officer's voice shaking with confusion. Unknown vessel approaching the fuel depot. It's not responding to identification requests. The screen switched to show a dark ship moving fast toward the depot. It fired a spread of missiles before any of the defense systems could respond. "All ships, intercept that vessel," Vex ordered. On the Nemesis, Captain Reed watched as their missiles streaked toward the fuel depot. "Direct hit," Emma called out as their defensive shields began to fail. The missiles struck the depot's main tanks. The explosion started small, then grew as one fuel cell after another ignited. The blast wave expanded, engulfing nearby tankers and smaller vessels as secondary explosions rattled the area. "Target their command and control systems," Reed ordered. The Nemesis banked sharply, evading the first wave of enemy fighters scrambling to respond. Its main guns fired, slicing through a crimson communications array. "Sir, multiple enemy vessels are moving to intercept," Emma warned, including a Nova cruiser among them. Reed studied the tactical display. Dozens of enemy ships were now converging on them from all directions. "Continue the attack run, then prepare to withdraw on my mark," he ordered calmly. The Nemesis shuddered as enemy fire began to connect with its shields. "Shields at 85%, reported the tactical officer. The human warship fired again, its energy weapons slicing through a crimson destroyer blocking their path. More explosions rocked the fuel depot. "Sir, I'm picking up a chain reaction. The whole station is going critical," Parker called out. Reed gripped the arms of his command chair. "Bring us around for a second pass. Target that Nova cruiser." He ordered a full reverse thrust, unleashing the Nemesis's full arsenal against the approaching Nova vessel. The alien ship's shields flared bright blue, then collapsed under the barrage as explosions bloomed across its hull. "Now get us out of here," Reed commanded as the Nemesis turned and accelerated away from the chaos it had created. Behind them, the fuel depot finally exploded completely, taking out over a dozen warships that had been too close to escape. Commander Vex, picking himself up from the floor of his command center, demanded, "Damage report?" An aide reported, "Commander, the fuel depot is completely destroyed. 12 warships lost, 7 more heavily damaged, and the attacking vessel has escaped." "But we have sensor readings," Vex continued. "It appears to be human." His yellow eyes narrowed to slits. "A single human ship dared to attack us. Identify it." His tactical officer worked frantically at the console. "Based on the profile, it matches no known human vessel class. It must be a new experimental ship." High General Tark approached, 2 of his forearms now in medical bindings from injuries sustained in the attack. "This is unacceptable, Commander Vex. The Nova General assured me that this staging area was secure. The humans could not have known about our alliance." Vex snapped back. "Someone must have leaked information." Tark's pale face flushed with anger. "Are you suggesting Nova forces betrayed our plans?" Vex replied coldly. "I am suggesting nothing, but I will find this human ship and destroy it." While the 2 alien leaders argued, neither noticed a small maintenance worker slipping away from the command center. Once alone, the worker pulled out a hidden communicator. "This is Lieutenant Tom Parker," he whispered into the device. "Infiltration successful. The attack worked better than expected. Commander Vex is taking personal command of the pursuit. The Nova General is furious. They're already blaming each other for security failures." Miles away and safely hidden in an asteroid field, Captain Reed received the transmission and smiled. "Good work, Lieutenant. Stay safe and keep reporting. We're just getting started." On the bridge of the Nemesis, Reed addressed his crew. "First blood is ours. Now let's make them chase ghosts while we plan our next strike." The human warship powered down its systems to minimum levels, becoming nearly invisible among the asteroids. One battle won, but the war against 2 empires had only just begun. 2 weeks after the fuel depot attack, the Nemesis drifted silently at the edge of a remote star system. The ship had hidden from pursuing Crimson forces while making repairs and planning its next move. On the bridge, Dr. Laura Miller, the science officer with short, disheveled blonde hair, hunched over her workstation. "Any progress?" Captain Reed asked, bringing her a cup of coffee. With tired eyes but a smile, she replied, "I think I've got it, Captain. Look at this." She pulled up a display showing energy patterns. "Every ship has a unique energy signature. It's like a fingerprint. We can modify our ship's output to mimic Crimson vessels." Reed studied the display. "You mean we can disguise ourselves as a Crimson ship?" "Exactly. Their allies would see us as friendly until it's too late." Reed's eyes lit up with understanding. "A plan is forming, a plan that could turn 2 allies against each other. How soon can you have it ready?" he asked. "Give me 12 hours, Laura replied. Reed nodded and called a meeting of his senior officers, Emma Walker, Marcus Stone, and Sergeant Mike Davis, the leader of the ship's Marine unit. As they gathered around the tactical table, Dr. Miller explained, "We're going to hit Nova targets while appearing to be Crimson ships." Mike Davis, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a scarred face, leaned forward. "Sir, if we're attacking Nova bases, I'd like to lead a boarding party. We could gather intelligence and plant false evidence pointing to Crimson involvement. Risky, but I like it." Reed said, "Chief Stone, what's our status?" The engineer rubbed his beard and reported, "Engines at 92%, weapons fully operational, shields at 89%, we're as ready as we'll ever be." Reed turned to Emma. "Lieutenant Walker, I need targets, important Nova installations near the border. I've already identified 3 possibilities." Emma brought up a map. "This outpost is their main communications relay for this sector. Taking it down would create confusion." Reed studied the map. "That's our first target. Here, how we'll do it." Meanwhile, Admiral Krell paced the command deck of Nova Outpost 7. The tall, four-armed alien had never trusted the alliance with the Crimson Empire. For centuries of enmity had left old hatreds that didn't die easily. "Status of the border patrols?" he asked his communications officer. "All units report normal activity, Admiral. No sign of the human vessel that attacked the Crimson Fuel Depot." Krell nodded, relieved that the humans were focusing their attacks on the Crimson forces rather than his own. "Let Vex deal with them." Suddenly, alarms blared across the command center. "Admiral, a vessel is approaching at high speed," his sensor operator shouted. "It's a Crimson heavy cruiser. What? Impossible. They're supposed to be our allies." Krell moved to the viewport. "Hail them immediately. No response to communications. Their weapons are powering up. Battle stations." Before the Nova outpost could fully prepare, the attacking ship moved with unexpected speed and precision, targeting communications arrays and defense systems. "Sir, our long-range communications are down. We can't contact the fleet," reported the tactical officer. Krell's pale face darkened with anger. "The Crimson betrayed us. I knew we couldn't trust them." On the bridge of the Nemesis, Captain Reed watched as their disguised ship hammered the Nova outpost. "Their shields are failing," Emma reported. "Defense systems at 40% capacity." Reed nodded. "Sergeant Davis, prepare your boarding team. You have 30 minutes on the ground in the launch bay." Mike Davis and 6 Marines checked their weapons and equipment, wearing modified armor that resembled Crimson troops. "Get in, plant the evidence, grab whatever intelligence you can, and get out. Make it look like the Crimson were searching for something specific." The boarding shuttle launched toward the damaged Nova outpost. Using the chaos of the attack as cover, they docked at a secondary airlock and cut their way inside. "Move out," Davis ordered as they entered the alien structure. The Nova troops they encountered were quickly subdued with stun weapons. Davis led his team to the main data center, where they planted fabricated Crimson codes and command chips, downloaded Nova battle plans and communication protocols, and then headed back to their shuttle. "Mission accomplished," Davis reported over the comm. "Good work, Sergeant. We're timing this perfectly," Reed acknowledged as the shuttle docked with the Nemesis. The human warship fired one final volley at the Nova outpost's power core, not enough to destroy it, but enough to ensure that the Nova would know they had been attacked, as the energy signature shifted back to normal, according to Laura. As they pulled away, the Nemesis accelerated, disappearing into the darkness of space before any Nova reinforcements could arrive. 2 days later, Nova Admiral Krell stood before High General Tark, his normally smooth face lined with fury. "They attacked without warning. A Crimson heavy cruiser specifically targeted our communications and data centers." Tark's forearms clenched into fists. "Commander Vex denies any knowledge of this attack and claims all his ships are accounted for. Then he is lying." Krell slammed a data chip onto the table. "We found Crimson access codes. They were searching for something." Tark studied the evidence. "I will speak with Vex personally about this breach of trust." Meanwhile, the Nemesis was already preparing its next mission. Chief Engineer Stone had modified their energy signature again, this time to match Nova vessels. "The Nova disguise is ready, Captain," Stone reported. "But I don't recommend using these modifications too often. It puts a strain on our systems." Reed nodded. "We'll hit one Crimson target, then let them simmer for a while." Emma then approached with a data pad. "Sir, Lieutenant Parker's last transmission indicates that the Crimson are scrambling to explain the attack to the Nova." Commander Vex is denying responsibility, but Admiral Krell isn't believing him. Reed smiled grimly. Perfect. Now let's add fuel to the fire. Set course for Crimson Outpost Delta. This time, we're a Nova strike force with a grudge. Dr. Laura looked concerned. Captain, are we sure this is the right strategy? We're manipulating them into fighting each other. Reed's face grew serious. The alternative is letting them unite to destroy Earth. I'll take whatever moral burden this creates if it means saving our home. The Nemesis prepared for its next deception. Reed knew they were walking a dangerous line, but against two vast empires, a single human warship had to use every advantage it could find, even if that meant becoming the phantom menace that turned allies into enemies. A month passed since the Nemesis began its campaign of deception. The once solid alliance between the Crimson and Nova empires was now cracking at its foundation. After striking targets on both sides while disguised as the other, Captain Reed's strategy was working better than anyone had dared hope. The Nemesis now hovered near a dense nebula, using the cosmic gases to hide from enemy sensors. On the bridge, Reed studied reports from their embedded spy, Lieutenant Parker, who remained inside the Crimson command structure. Captain, Parker announced, I've successfully broken the new Crimson encryption. We now have access to all their secure communications. Reed nodded approvingly. Excellent work, Parker. What have you found? The ship's communications specialist displayed a series of decoded messages. The young officer had a talent for cracking even the most complex enemy codes. Despite growing tensions, they're still planning the invasion of Earth. They've moved up the timetable. The joint armada will launch in 2 weeks. Reed's face darkened. So we haven't done enough to stop them, just enough to make them nervous and rush their plans. He called his senior officers to the tactical room. As they gathered around the holographic display, Reed explained, Our efforts have created distrust, but not enough to break the alliance completely. We need something bigger, something that will turn their mistrust into open conflict. Emma studied the display, which showed the massive joint fleet gathering. Even with all our successes, we're still just one ship against hundreds. That's why we need to make those hundreds fight each other, Reed replied. Foster has located their joint command center. It's controlling the entire invasion fleet. He zoomed in on a large space station positioned at the edge of Crimson territory, surrounded by ships from both empires that were preparing to launch the assault on Earth. If we can infiltrate that command center and plant false orders in their systems, Reed began, we could make their own ships fire on each other. Emma finished his thought. Exactly. Chief Engineer Stone looked skeptical. That station will have the heaviest security in both empires. How do we get in? Reed turned to Sergeant Davis. That's where your Marines come in, Sergeant. This is the most dangerous mission you've ever had. Once inside, you'll have 30 minutes to reach the central command systems and upload Foster's program. Davis nodded solemnly. My team is ready, sir. Just tell us what to do. Meanwhile, on the Crimson flagship, Director Jax moved carefully through rows of data screens. Unlike Commander Vex, who relied solely on military solutions, Jax, head of Crimson Intelligence, had been studying the patterns of attacks over the past month. Show me the energy readings again, he instructed his assistant. The screen displayed sensor data from various attacks on Crimson outposts by what appeared to be Nova ships, and on Nova bases struck by what seemed to be Crimson vessels. There's something familiar about all these attacks, similarities that might be missed if one wasn't looking for them, Jax murmured. They're disguising their energy signature. A chill ran down his spine. It's been the humans all along. He rushed to report his findings to Commander Vex, but paused at the door to Vex's office. The commander was speaking with Counselor Wren, a high-ranking Nova political leader who had arrived to discuss the deteriorating relationship between their empires. These accusations are unacceptable, Wren argued, his forearms gesturing in agitation. The Nova Empire has never violated our agreement. It is your ships that have attacked our outposts, and I tell you again, we have conducted no such attacks. Vex snarled. Perhaps your Admiral Krell is acting without your knowledge. Jax hesitated. His discovery could calm tensions between the empires, but it might also unite them again against Earth. He decided to gather more evidence before reporting his suspicions. Aboard the Nemesis, Reed finalized the details of their most daring mission yet. The station's defenses are formidable, Emma explained to the team, but we've identified a maintenance airlock with lighter security. If we approach using our Nova disguise, we can get close enough for the boarding team to enter. Reed turned to Sergeant Davis. Once inside, you'll have 30 minutes to reach the central computer core and upload Foster's program. Davis nodded. We'll get it done, sir. The plan was set in motion. Disguised as a Nova supply vessel, the Nemesis approached the Joint Command Station. It transmitted forged authorization codes that Foster had decrypted from earlier communications. We're cleared to approach Docking Bay 7, Alex reported. Do not take us in slow, no suspicious movements. The human warship glided toward the massive station. When they were within 500 meters of the maintenance airlock, Davis and his team launched in a small shuttle. Approaching target, Davis reported. The Marines docked at the airlock and cut their way inside, moving through maintenance tunnels and avoiding the main corridors where Crimson and Nova personnel worked. We're approaching the central computer core, Davis whispered over the comm. Minimal resistance so far. Once inside the computer core, Davis plugged in a device that Foster had prepared, a device that contained false battle orders which would make Crimson and Nova ships target each other. Upload in progress, Davis reported. Estimated time to completion, 3 minutes. Back on the Nemesis, Reed watched the operation unfold on a tactical display. Stand by weapons. If we're discovered, we'll need to create a distraction for the extraction. Suddenly, alarms blared across the command channel. Security alert in computer core sector, unauthorized access detected. A Crimson voice boomed over the comm. We've been spotted, Davis reported with the sound of weapons fire in the background. Upload at 70%, 80%, hold your position, Sergeant, Reed ordered. Complete the upload 90%, upload complete, Davis called. We're falling back to extraction point now, Reed turned to Emma. Target their external communications array and fire. The Nemesis dropped its disguise and opened fire on the station. The sudden attack created chaos, giving Davis and his team the distraction they needed to fight their way back to their shuttle. Board the shuttle and prepare for immediate departure, Reed ordered. As the shuttle docked with the Nemesis, ships from both empires began to respond to the attack. The human vessel fired one last volley at the station's power systems, then engaged its engines at maximum thrust. Multiple enemy vessels in pursuit, both Crimson and Nova ships, Emma called out. Activate the phase drive, Reed ordered. Get us out of here. In a brilliant flash, the Nemesis vanished in a blur of light, leaving confusion in its wake. Behind them, the uploaded program began its work, sending false orders throughout the invasion fleet. As the Nemesis emerged from phase space safely, Reed received the first reports of success. Sir, Alex called out, monitoring enemy communications. Crimson and Nova ships are now firing on each other. The command system is sending conflicting orders, making each side think they're being betrayed. Reed watched the tactical display as dots representing enemy ships began to engage each other. A tight smile crossed his face. One human warship has just turned an invasion fleet against itself. Now Earth has a fighting chance, he said quietly. And now they've finally identified us. Both empires will be hunting us. Emma looked worried. That means they'll know exactly who's been causing them trouble, Reed nodded. Yes, but first they have to stop fighting each other. On the main screen, chaos continued to spread as the massive joint fleet dissolved into a tangle of Crimson and Nova ships firing on former allies. The planned invasion of Earth was no longer the priority. Their survival had taken precedence. 3 months had passed since the Nemesis had turned the invasion fleet against itself. The once mighty alliance between the Crimson and Nova empires had collapsed completely. Their ships now fought each other across dozens of star systems, their hatred rekindled and burning hotter than ever. Victory, however, had come at a cost. The Nemesis was now deep in enemy territory, low on supplies and badly damaged from countless battles and narrow escapes. Captain Reed stood in the engine room, surveying the repairs with Chief Engineer Stone. Tell me the truth, Chief, Reed said quietly, away from the ears of the crew. How bad is it? Stone wiped grease from his hands with a rag. The main drive is operating at 60% at best, life support is stable, but the weapons systems are down to basic functionality, and the phase drive, he shook his head, is completely burned out. We have no more jumping capability. Reed nodded grimly. And our supplies, food for another 2 months if we stretch it, fuel for maybe 3 weeks at current usage. He placed a hand on the engineer's shoulder. You've worked miracles keeping us running this long, Marcus. Both men knew what remained unspoken. The nemesis was running out of time. Reed returned to the bridge where Emma Walker was studying star charts. "Any word from Parker?" he asked. Emma shook her head. "Nothing since his last transmission 3 weeks ago. He may have been discovered." She didn't finish her sentence. Reed studied the charts. They were deep in enemy space, with both empires still searching for them. Despite the war between the two, the path home to Earth would take them through contested territories and past dozens of enemy outposts. "Captain," Emma said hesitantly, "the crew needs to know what's next. We've accomplished our mission, the invasion fleet is destroyed, and both empires are now at war with each other instead of with Earth. Maybe it's time to," she trailed off. "Lieutenant, surrender or die quietly in deep space to try and get home," she finished. "The crew deserves that chance." Reed stared at the star map for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Sound general quarters, all senior officers to the bridge." Meanwhile, on Earth at the headquarters of the Earth Defense Force, General Frank Cooper studied reports of the ongoing war between the Crimson and Nova empires. What had started as minor border skirmishes had erupted into full-scale conflict. Strangely, both empires had withdrawn forces from human space. "It doesn't make sense," Cooper said to Ambassador Hill, who had been trying to establish communication with both alien powers. "Why would they suddenly turn on each other when they were about to launch a joint attack?" Hill shook her head. "Neither side will talk to us. They both accuse us of deception and interference but won't explain further, sir." A young officer burst into the room and placed a data pad on the table. "You need to see this," he said. It showed analysis of communications intercepts from both empires. "What am I looking at?" Lieutenant Cooper asked. "Sir, both the Crimson and Nova empires keep referring to a single human ship that supposedly tricked them into fighting each other. They call it the Ghost Ship or the Phantom." Cooper frowned. "One ship? What ship could possibly?" His eyes widened. "The Nemesis," the officer nodded. "Yes, sir. The Nemesis disappeared 3 months ago on a patrol near the border. It was declared lost with all hands." Cooper turned to his communications officer. "Get me Commander Taylor of the Sentinel immediately." Back aboard the Nemesis, Captain Reed addressed his senior officers, and through the ship's comm system, the entire crew. "We've accomplished what many would have thought impossible. One ship, against 2 vast empires, has prevented the invasion of Earth and saved countless human lives." He paused, looking at the tired but proud faces around him. "But our mission isn't complete until we bring this ship and its crew home. The path won't be easy. We're damaged, low on supplies, and our journey through hostile territory is long, but I believe we can make it." Reed displayed the course he and Emma had plotted. "We'll skirt the edge of Nova territory, using the ongoing battles as cover, then make a run through this sector where the fighting is heaviest, using the chaos to mask our signature." The crew listened intently as Reed outlined each step of the dangerous journey home. "Questions?" Reed asked when he finished. Dr. Laura Miller spoke up. "Captain, what if we encounter enemy ships? We're in no condition for more fighting." "We avoid engagement at all costs," Reed replied. "We run, we hide, we survive. We've played our part in this war, now we go home." The crew nodded in agreement. They had all signed up for dangerous missions, but now they longed for home. "All crew, bring this ship home." 2 weeks into their journey, the Nemesis encountered its first major obstacle. While passing through an asteroid field to mask their signature, sensors detected a Nova patrol ahead and a Crimson battle group behind. "We're trapped between them," Emma reported tensely. Reed studied the tactical display. "Options?" he asked. "We don't have enough power to outrun either group," Stone said, "and our weapons can't handle a direct confrontation." Reed thought for a moment, then pointed to a dense section of the asteroid field. "Take us in as deep as you can, sir." "Navigating through there will be extremely dangerous," Emma warned, "more dangerous than 2 enemy fleets." "Do it, Lieutenant," Reed ordered. The Nemesis turned and plunged deeper into the asteroid field. Massive rocks tumbled around them as Emma carefully guided the ship through the maze. "Crimson ships are following us," the sensor officer reported, "and Nova vessels are approaching from the other side." Reed's eyes narrowed. "They're determined to finish us," Captain Alex Foster called from communications. "I'm picking up a strange signal. It's on an Earth Defense Force frequency." A woman's voice came through the speakers. Attention, Nemesis, this is Commander Grace Taylor of the Earth vessel Sentinel. If you can hear us, respond on this frequency. Reed could hardly believe what he was hearing. This is Captain Reed of the Nemesis. We read you, Sentinel, but be advised we're currently trapped between enemy forces. We see them, Captain. Hold your position. Help is on the way.